would you deal with that? What would you say would be good things as a coach? What would you say?
Yeah, well, I think nobody should have to put up with bullying in the workplace. And fortunately, it's been highlighted these days that people are more aware of it, and you can get support and help. If you can face the bully directly and have a conversation with them and let them know how you feel, then great. If you can work it out between the two of you, maybe let them know that their behavior has an impact on them and their performance, and how you would prefer for them to treat you. So having conversations like that. Now, some people will be saying, oh, I couldn't face the bully. That's just impossible. That's not a strategy I could use. And then sometimes you have to escalate it, maybe speak to your own manager. The certain chains of command that you have to follow in some organizations, and also taking it to HR. I mean, that's what they're there for. They're the human resource department. Their job is to manage the whole people side of the business, and that includes dealing with any conflicts. And maybe there can be a situation where you can have a facilitated meeting with a third person that they can then facilitate and mediate between the two. But if you don't call someone in to help, if you can't deal with it yourself, and you don't call in someone else, then it's going to continue. I mean, nothing will change unless something changes. And if that's affecting your mental health and your performance at work, and if it is, it's probably impacting your family and personal life as well.
Mm.
And if you don't deal with it, it's probably not going to go away unless they leave, which is possible, but highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely,
Highly
yeah.
unlikely. And then there's a choice that, well, maybe you leave. And that might be a solution. I've had situations where I've spoken to a third person, a counselor, regarding the situation, and their suggestion was leave, because I wasn't going to be able to fight this battle. It was like David and Goliath. It's like they're too big. You can't, if the company is supporting that person, there's nothing you can do. So every situation is different and unique, and we are all unique as people. And so talking it out, your personal situation with someone that can help coach you or guide you, whether it's a counselor or a coach or HR person, get some support to help you through it. And then, if you decide it's time to move on, then put your focus and energy on moving on. But also, even if you did move on or they moved on, you need to be able to deal with that, the effect that situation has had on you. You can't just go, oh, well, he's gone now, or I've moved, it's okay. You need to process what happened and be able to release any stress and tension associated with that situation. And part of that process may also be forgiveness, like
Yes.
forgiving that person, and being able to step outside and see that the reason that bullies are bullies is they've probably been bullied themselves. They've probably got their own stuff that they're dealing with, and they
Yeah.
haven't dealt with it.
Mm.
And their way of behaving is to be bullying other people. It's a control thing. And being able to step aside and process it yourself and forgive that person and let them go, being able to release them and let them go. Because if you don't release those negative emotions that you have in your body, they will get trapped in your body. And that is where disease comes from.
Mm.
Dis-ease. It's trapped emotion that has not been moved through you. So get the support of therapists. I'm not a therapist. I don't deal with shifting of energies or anything like that, but find someone who can help you process and release those energies so that it doesn't cause continued stress and possibly disease in your body. And you
Yeah.
need to move on. So
Yeah. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because, once you've left that situation, that there's still that remaining stress and emotion that you've dealt with, or you've been dealing with for a period of time, which you have to remove before you go into another environment to work or to create your own business, because you've got to have that focus, which is new and
yeah,
has a different energy. So you've got to get rid of all that negative energy that's built up in you for a period of time. So taking time out, it may be, or going to see a therapist or doing something like that, or having a conversation. If you've got a coach or someone like that, then have that conversation with them, but just get to release that negative energies so that you've got a space where whatever you do next, you start on the right foot.
Yeah. But nobody should put up with bullies.
No,
Nobody,
absolutely not.
nobody should put up with, and they will continue to be bullies unless someone actually sits down with them and has a talk with them. There is some sort of process for them as well. And I say that's where the HR team can come in, because they can work with that person and maybe deal with, or counseling, them referred to counseling so that they can deal with whatever it is that's causing them to be the bully. But of course, they have to want to change. At the end of the day, you can't change anyone else. You can only change yourself. So your coach will not change you. Your counselor will not change you. You have to do the work. And you have to going back to that, taking responsibility and having integrity on for yourself and being responsible for everything that happens to you. And if you're being bullied, then you're allowing that's you allowing them to bully you. And unless you change, then you've got to take responsibility that you've allowed it to happen. So get help. Don't sit there and take it. You don't have to. There's plenty of support out there these days. Especially now, I think there's so much support for mental health as well in the workforce. There's a lot of
needs to be.
Oh, absolutely. I think after what we've gone through in the last few years, and anxiety with teenagers,
huge.
The knock-on effect of what happened during, the COVID years, it's still happening. People are still struggling and suffering today. And so mental health awareness is a lot higher on the radar, and it's not, people don't look at people in a bad way for going and getting help these days. It's normal. Children have counselors at school, which is great, because the younger people are growing up with, it's okay to talk to a counselor. Whereas I think the older generation, it was a bit like, oh no, you don't want to admit that you've got a problem. But we have to get
it's a sign of weakness, but it's not. Yeah, you can show up and be vulnerable, and that's a strength. But when you're starting your own business, there's a stress with that, isn't there? Because there's so much to do, and you don't normally, unless you're starting in a big corporation or something like that, you're normally working on your own, and those stresses are there. So there are certain things that you could do for yourself every day. And we talked about this earlier, is do some exercise. Make sure you have time for yourself. Don't allow yourself to work 24/7. Make sure you have rest, you eat well, you look after yourself, you go outside, get some fresh air, go to the gym if you're that way inclined. But it's all about that. It's all about that balance, isn't it? And I don't really like that word balance for life, because everybody uses it, but it is that balance that you need, so that you haven't got the foggy brain, and you can run your business and then bring in the team that you need to work together to build your business, so that you can work on your business and you've got all these people that are competent in these other areas to support you.
Yes. And I think for anyone starting out in business, you've got to make sure that you've got the funding to support you starting a new business, because you're not going to open your doors and be making a profit from day one. It takes time. And if you're building, like I built my business from scratch. I created the training program I didn't buy somebody else's program. I created it myself with my own knowledge and skills. And I didn't have a social media presence, so I had to get myself out there, I had to do the learning, get the coaching, do the training, do all that creation and development mode. And now I'm shifting into the sales and marketing mode. And all business owners need to be sales and marketing people. Whatever their product or service is, you need to have those sales and marketing skills to be able to have a business. And being able, if you're not good at it, then get the training. So I didn't know how to edit videos or create script out and create videos for content. I got a mentor who did messaging and video. So I learned the messaging and how to create and edit videos. And I did that. It was like a 12-month program. And I worked through that program and started putting out content. I mean, it was pretty rough at the beginning, but like we said earlier, the more you do something, the better and easier it gets. Because if you, I think going back to that finance thing, if you haven't set yourself up with the training that you need, the money you need to back yourself while you're setting everything up, and if you're trying to do everything yourself and you're not taking breaks, you're not exercising, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping, your business won't survive because it'll just create all this stress. Stress creates overwhelm, and the overwhelm creates procrastination, so things don't get done. And you get this negative spiral of beliefs and thoughts, negative thoughts, it's not working, I can't do this, and which means you don't take the action, which means you don't get the results, which means you don't, your belief check is getting worse and negative, and it just all implodes. So
Yeah.
if you can set yourself up for sales and business success, I would say do the exercise, the breathing, meditation, the gratitude, all that sort of non-businessy stuff, but it's personal care, looking after yourself, eating well. You need to get that planned into your schedule. And you need to get the support, like you said, outsourcing if you need to, for people who can do stuff for you. But make sure you've got a financial pool of money to be able to have to pay bills and things while you're establishing yourself.
And it's all about that nurturing of yourself so that you have the ability to do and deal with the challenges that you're going to face. And you're not going to say there's no challenges, because there's always a challenge here. But if you've got that less foggy brain and clarity of where you're going and you know what you want, you can work through those challenges or around those challenges and bring you back on in a direction that you're wanting to go. So it's taking control of your life and being respectful to yourself.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it is about respecting yourself. You have to set your boundaries.
Yes.
Don't let people steal your time, because time is important. Make sure you have a good plan of what you want to do, how you're going to what your goal is, and how you're going to achieve that goal, and what you need to do every day to get yourself towards that goal. Get yourself a coach or a mentor, someone to hold you accountable to keep moving forward. And I think another thing is having a real clear purpose and why you're doing it. Why are you getting into business? Now, is it just to make money and that's it? Because that's not a good enough reason. I mean, yes, you want to make money. We have, we're not charities. We have bills to pay, but that can't be the whole purpose, because that's not going to motivate you when times are tough. You've got to have something bigger outside yourself, a bigger goal of what you want to do or how you want to impact the world or help people. It might be your family, it might be a charity, it might be just that you want to set yourself up for your family so you can support your family, or you want to travel, whatever it is. It's got to be that a bigger reason why and purpose that you're in business. And if you're, then you can, when you're having those bad days, just remind yourself of what that purpose is. And that's what's going to get you keep moving forward when things aren't working out. Yeah. And have you ever heard of Mel Robbins? I love following
Yes.
Mel Robbins. I sometimes I just listen, I flick on Instagram and listen to some of her little short motivational things, because she really helps people in that area. And one of the things she talks about, which I do and I teach my students, is that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And to get yourself going, it's count down: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pick up the phone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, walk through the door. And and how she explains it and how this works is, she says, if you delay it by 5 seconds taking the action, that is enough time for your negative chatter, the brain, to chatter and convince you. And it's your amygdala, the fear factor of your brain. It's the historical old brain that wants to protect you, telling you, oh no, this isn't going to work, don't do this, oh, you're going to look silly, all that negative chatter. But by doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 action, you don't have time for that chatter to come into your brain. So you just keep moving. And once you start moving, things start happening.
Yeah,
and
so true.
I really like that for moving forward. That's a good strategy that I use.
Yeah, that is good. It's also having the confidence in yourself. And I often look at, are you going into business just as a hobby, or are you going into business to earn money? or you're going into business to serve first, the money comes if you're doing it well. But is it a hobby or is it a real business? And you've got to decide that. So if you don't need the money and you just want to have some fun doing something, well, therefore it's a hobby. If you don't have the structure in place, if you don't have all the procedures and systems and things like that, so it flows and makes your time easier so that you can concentrate on working on your business, not in it, and you have the team around you to support you, then it's only a hobby. So you've got to decide whether it's going to be, I'm going into a real business, or I'm just going to have a bit of fun.
Yeah. And I think some people are not clear. It's a bit grey area for them.
So true.
Maybe they're in business, but the way they're behaving is more of a hobby. If you're
Yes.
not prepared to invest in training programs, in products like platforms you need, for hosting, all those sort of apps and things that are going to make your life easier, and coaching and getting the support and training and attending networking meetings. I mean, some of them are free, but some of them cost. There are costs associated with setting up and running a business. And if you want to be in business, you've got to have that funding and be able to to do those, to utilize those tools and the support for your business, and you'll get your money back if you. I mean, when you start making sales, then the sales obviously will cover the cost of all the platforms and the outgoing that you've laid out. But it's important as well to look at your pricing, because if you're costing a lot of money in the setup and the support, but you're selling your product for like $10. You got to sell a lot of $10 products to be able
It isn't going to work.
to work. So you really do need to look at how much is it costing you and how much is your product. And maybe you need to review your pricing. And a lot of people, when they're selling their own products, like coaches, they undersell themselves and their value. They don't price themselves well.
Yes, true.
Not
Now,